All right. Welcome, everybody, to Crowdfunding Office Hours, Episode 9. We have a wonderful show today, and before we get started, I just want to put out a few ground rules for the audience and for everyone on the show today. So the purpose of Crowdfunding Office Hours is to be a resource for individuals who would like to learn about crowdfunding and who may have certain questions that they may have on their mind for their own personal projects. The idea for this came because a lot of people have been contacting us, contacting Reality Crowd TV, asking for advice, and because there's so many people asking, we decided that this is the best venue to help people out who may have these type of questions. It's begun to evolve. We have individuals who come on now who have run successful campaigns, who are also willing to share their knowledge and expertise on exactly how they did it. We're starting to have investors come on as well who might also want to mentor entrepreneurs on their journey to actually crowdfund their particular projects. So this is really just a weekly show where we really want to try to help each other. So it's grown into something beautiful. In regards to what you may see on your screen right now, specifically if you're watching through Google Hangouts, is the Showcase application. On the right side of your screen, you should be able to see a Showcase application that shows various links to all of our guests today, whether it's to their personal profiles or actually to their business profiles. Additionally, I will now switch to the Q&A application, so anyone who is watching the show live through Google Events will be able to submit questions at any time. These can be questions specifically that you may have on how to crowdfund, or questions for any of our guests today on their businesses, or even if you just want to, throw in your 2 cents on giving advice to these entrepreneurs. So with all that said, I also want to thank all of our sponsors. If you were on the event page, you saw the list of almost 70 people who are backing this particular project. They believe the need is there, and that's why they also are part of this movement. So with that said, we have an amazing group of guests today. We have a lot of people on, and I'm excited to introduce everybody. And I'll give everybody actually a brief moment to introduce themselves. So from left to right, we'll start with Nick LaFond. And Nick, thank you for joining us, and please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Manolis. Hi, everybody. I'm Nick LaFond from Los Angeles. I'm an investor, entrepreneur, and startup advisor. And I'm trying to fix a problem with especially women entrepreneurs getting a very small amount of funding right now through venture capital and angel investment. So I've taken that on personally to help them grow their businesses, make them attractive to investment, and then help them get that capital to allow them to accelerate their businesses.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nick. You've been a big supporter of Reality Crowd TV, and a few of the guests we had on our last pitch competition were actually referred by you. So thank you for being a great supporter of our show.
My pleasure.
Next we have Patrick Kobler, and Patrick, I know your audio is a little low, so I know you might have to scream a little bit, but please introduce yourself to the audience.
All right, well, thank you for having me, and sorry for those of you who can hear if I'm not trying to scream at you. I just want to make sure the audio gets through to everyone. But my name's Patrick Kobler, and I run external affairs and public outreach for our startup, Chewy. Chewy is bringing facial recognition to consumers at an affordable price point for the first time, and our first product to market uses facial recognition to make your door the entryway to a connected home. So it unlocks a Wi-Fi enabled lock upon just seeing your face, turns on your temperature, that perfect 72, puts your TV onto your favorite show, can even turn on a fireplace. If you'll see our video, you'll also see some other functions, including it can break up with your significant other for you. It's actually me. So I was lucky enough to get to know everyone at Rally Crowd TV through Twitter, and had a great phone call last week, and it's great to be here today. Like I've said before, one of the best things about this industry is how welcoming everyone is and how easy it is to make connections, and I hope to do so with all of you today.
Excellent, Patrick. Thank you so much, and I'm really excited for your startup. The website for your startup is getchewy.com, and it really is revolutionizing facial recognition technologies. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Our next guest is Rita Hodges, and Rita, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you, Manola. Hi, everyone. My name is Rita Badaloni Hodges, and I'm the featured host and founder of the Serenity Show on Blog Talk Radio. And my mission is to help young adolescents and young adults who face any and all demises out in society, and with family members to reach a goal and to find workable solutions in finding a healthier way of living. You know, because no one, when they were a little boy or a little girl, said, I want to grow up to be an alcoholic or a drug addict or to end up in the criminal justice system. And through my own lived experiences, they can relate to me because I've been able to get to the other side and have a healthier way of living with that. And I want to take my show and take it to TV. And I feel I have an opportunity here with crowdfunding to be able to do that. So I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really excited to learn more about what you have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. What you do with your show is truly remarkable, and you're really making a difference in people's lives. So thank you as well. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Great. Our next guest is Roxanne Davenport, a returning guest. And Roxanne, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Roxanne Davenport. I started First Seizure of the Day epilepsy community here on Google+. It's help people, we come together with epilepsy and talk. Sometimes it's hard talking to family members because they don't have epilepsy, but other people were able to talk to each other. But now I wanted to start a nonprofit, epilepsy, the Seizure of the Day epilepsy nonprofit, because more money needs to be raised for research and funding to help find really, we are the least funded for research, and we need to find a cure. So that's why I'm here. I want a cure.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Roxanne. And you're right. You know that epilepsy is a major problem, and more awareness that you're bringing to it is doing a very big service to those who unfortunately have to work with that in their lives. So thank you, Roxanne. It's great. And actually, this gentleman, I'd like you to introduce yourself because I actually don't know your name. So can you please introduce yourself to the audience, sir? And actually, sir, sorry, we actually can't hear you too well. Do you have your volume turned up?
Can you hear me now?
No, we still unfortunately cannot hear you so well. I know that sometimes if you have an audio, like a headphone plugged into your computer, it has that issue. But if you actually logged out and logged back in, that might also help you there. So we'll move on to a returning guest, Tiffany Capone. And Tiffany, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tiffany Capone. I am the CEO of Toybox LLC and creator of Bebe Pod Pants, a new way to dress babies for travel, an alternative, I should say, ways to dress babies for travel.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tiffany. And you actually won the first weekly episode of the crowdfunding pitch competition. So congratulations to you. You definitely put in a lot of work, and you won the competition, and it was great to see you again.
Thank you. I'm definitely going to be bringing it the next time, though.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see you. You know how much you're going to improve. So this is great. Let's try it again. Can you see if your audio is working? Yeah. Unfortunately, your audio is not working still. It's very hard to. We could barely hear you. So hopefully you can get that fixed. So we're going to have to move on a little bit. And so this is the part of the show where we begin to. If anyone has any questions, they may begin to ask them. But even before then, just for the audience and just to have a level set, I always like to play this video at the start of every show, which is really a very clear and concise explanation as to what crowdfunding is. The video is owned by the White House. The White House released this video back in 2012 when the government signed the 2012 Jobs Act, and that particular piece of legislation has made the way for equity crowdfunding to come into the fold. So many of us may know what crowdfunding is from Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but there's actually a whole new movement of crowdfunding known as equity crowdfunding that is picking up steam. So I'm going to play that video first so that everyone can get a good idea of exactly what crowdfunding is. So bear with me for one moment, and we'll get there. So I'll just put the video on now, and
crowdfunding is a concept that's been around for a long time. It's the idea of passing around the basket at church in its oldest incarnation, of the large crowd of people being able to contribute small amounts, which in aggregate meet the financial goal of any organization, group, or individual. And so when you look at crowdfunding and how it's evolved, the reason it's become a buzzword recently is because it's gone online, and so the potential of it has expanded exponentially. The crowdfunding bill is important for small businesses because it creates access to capital. Access to capital that currently is very hard to come by. The basic concept of this will mean for entrepreneurs and investors is that an entrepreneur will post a description, a very thorough description of their business, the finances, the business plan, what they're going to do with the money, the budget, etc. And they're going to be able to share this opportunity with anyone they so choose. Most likely it'll be their customers, friends and family, might be Twitter followers, people who share an affiliation with them that they think might be interested, etc. The investor will then pledge a certain amount of capital that they want to invest. If the fundraising goal is met for how much money that entrepreneur is looking for, then the money will transfer to the entrepreneur. So it's an all or nothing arrangement. What I hope that America will now see is that after the SEC rulemaking period is done on the crowdfunding bill, approximately 9 months from now, and platforms can be created and launched that allow for crowdfunding, that entrepreneurs who currently feel like funding is a roadblock to them achieving their success can now have the opportunity to succeed. I strongly believe that crowdfunding is not just for high-tech businesses. I, in fact, think that the majority of people are going to be using this in the long run. The majority of businesses in the country are small businesses, and that's who can really take advantage of this.
All right.
So I know the young lady is a fast talker, so that's for certain. And so I hope that gave a level set. Really, the first 2 sentences that she said really explain very well how anyone who's about to start a crowdfunding campaign should explain it to someone who's never heard of it. She said, take the concept of passing around the basket at church, where an individual with a need is provided with capital from a crowd of people. Put that concept online, apply it to things other than charities, such as small business, art, music, film, technology, and you have crowdfunding. So with that level set, I just wanted to put that out there, and I'd like anyone who has any questions to begin. And I know, Rita, you came on with the set of questions that you had for everyone on the show, and can you kind of start us off with your questions?
Well, I've got quite a few different questions. So I don't know if you want them all at one time or if you want to go around and do it that way. But my first question was about the main goal of what crowdfunding was all about, but you've just answered that. And my next question is, when you choose someone that has pitched their product or idea, what exactly does that money that you provide for them, what does it go to? Does it go exactly to what? Is everyone trying to get on TV, or? But that answers the question also. Everyone has their own different concept of what they're trying to do.
And actually, I think what you mean is the pitch competition show that's on a weekly basis on Thursdays. That show, there is no monetary reward on that show at present, because we literally just started it 2 weeks ago. The people who come on the show and pitch their projects, there's a number of benefits for them, including exposure. But really, the winner of each weekly show will then go to the month-end finale on August 28th. And on that show, if they win that competition, they then get a free crowdfunding campaign on headfunder.com. And so what I mean by free crowdfunding campaign, all the crowdfunding websites out there, the way that they sustain their business is they charge a percentage of all the money raised on your project. In order for you to use their platform, they would charge a percentage of the money raised. Headfunder is a sponsor of this pitch competition, so they will not charge you anything in terms of what their normal profit is whenever they help someone crowdfund. So, like, that's the reward for the month-end show. Does that help you answer the question?
Are you basically getting free exposure for getting your idea out there? So they're advertising your product for you. Is that it?
Yeah. When you come on our show, I mean, you're getting exposure. You're meeting new people. You're learning about crowdfunding, and then when you actually launch a crowdfunding campaign. And we'll get into it, but it's a pretty in-depth process. It's a 3 to 6 month marketing and communications plan in order to be executed. So, you know, with your crowdfunding campaign, what you really want to do is you want to build relationships and market yourself for whatever your project is. So for your Serenity show, if you're looking to eventually raise capital to produce a show that goes on television, then that is a good way to get your word out there, is to launch a crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that answers that.
Great. And but before we go on to other questions, I just noticed we have Denarius Lewis, who is currently in the lead of the second weekly episode of the crowdfunding pitch competition. So, Denarius, thanks for joining us again.
No problem, no problem.
Can you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. My name is Denarius Lewis. My company is called Wordsworth Listening Academy. It's a new way that entrepreneurs are going to change the way they communicate, operate, and elaborate, all through personally branding their image. I firmly believe there are plenty of people out there that want the American dream but don't know how to go about it. But once you personally brand that image for yourself, you'll gain that audience you look to seek for yourself. So it's basically a company that, and a website that's going to bring a lot of entrepreneurs how to personally brand the image for themselves.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Denarius. Really great to have you on board. Great. And does anyone, and actually let's see, the gentleman, is your audio working?
Not exactly sure. Can you hear me now?
No, unfortunately not. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, so before we go on to a scheduled presentation, I'd like to see if anyone else has any other questions. Tiffany, do you have any questions?
I do. I have a question for Mr. LaFond. What are investors looking for in a product? I have a physical product that is for moms. I'd like to capture that market. I've been at it. Let's see. I launched officially last November, and I've been doing this grind with the bloggers, writing about my product. I've recently was featured, or am featured, in Baby and Children's Product News magazine. Have an editorial in that. As far as product goes, what else do I need to do? I'm asking for myself, just in case anybody else is in my space. What else do I need to do to get the word out? I mean, because I really feel like I've been grinding at this point.
Sure. Well, great question, Stephanie. I would say that you're doing all the right things right now to get that early traction that you need. And in working it through your social channels, pitching to reporters, news agencies, that's exactly what you need to be doing as the CEO of the company. So the next step is going to be showing an opportunity, I guess, to invest some money in your company. And what investors are going to be looking for, aside from that early traction, is who is the CEO? Who is Tiffany? What has she done? Is she a reliable person that we can trust? Is she coachable so that when we put in money and possibly take a board seat, is she going to be able to adapt to the recommendations that we have for her? I would say that the individual is the most important as far as who they are and whether the investor is going to put money into that. But also they're going to want to see some team as well. So do you happen to have anybody else on your team that you're working with?
Actually, when I say I'm a one-person show, and I'm a one-person show from, as you can see from here, this is my sewing machine and embroidery machine. From concept to now production, I've done everything. I even learned graphic design. My logo, I created myself. And I happen to be a lupus survivor as well, you know, and a mother of 5. So tenacious, that's an understatement for me. So and everything you said, coachable. If you teach me, I will learn. I am like a sponge, you know. So I guess what you're saying is the CEO has to be open and willing to learn everything, and I just believe I have been. But I'd really like to know I'm at the top of this. I'm at the top right now. I just need to get over the hump, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess kind of circling back on that, as far as team goes, at some point you're going to need to kind of pull back from doing everything and really focus on the things that a CEO is responsible for, meaning dealing with the course of the ship. You need to be able to spend a lot of time on making sure that the strategy is right and that it's pointed in the right direction. So, you know, it's difficult to do all of that and then also be in fundraising mode as well. So I think what most entrepreneurs find is that when they start the fundraising process, they almost have to do that as a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that, you know, they have to have some team that they can delegate the operations, the manufacturing, the shipping, some of those other key parts that keep that business running and making the money. While they're actually out taking meetings with investors, because you know, I'll tell you the typical rate that investors are saying yes to deals is about 1%. So you know, I don't want to discourage anybody and say you got to pitch 100 investors before you get one deal. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I mean that is the traditional rate, right? So that's a lot of work right there. And the last thing that I'll say about that is, before you go out pitching investors, what you need to do is wrap all of what we call a pitch.
I've lost you.
Deck. PowerPoint. Can't hear.
Not hearing
me
you
anymore.
No, lost everything. Lost what you just said.
Yeah, you were a little bit. Your connection's a little bit rocky. Are you there now?
Yeah, can you guys hear me better now?
We lost you when you were telling us about before you go out and pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how about now?
Saying?
Yep, now works better. You're sounding good now.
Fantastic. So what I was saying is, when you're going out to pitch investors, what you need to have together is something that we call a pitch deck. And basically that's 10, 11, sometimes 12 slides that are showing everything from the problem that you're solving to how the solution works, to the opportunity, and then you're showing with some graphs the traction that you have in terms of month-over-month growth, and basically wrapping all of the opportunity of your company up into this neat little package where you can solicit some interest during that pitch. So that's something that, you know, it shouldn't take you more than 5-10 minutes at the most to do. You're not telling them everything. You want pictures. You want big type, so that they're kind of left wanting more and saying, that's very interesting. I would like to find out more information about that. So when you put that together, then you're just prospecting. You're looking for investors that are the right type for you, meaning that they invest in the space that you do. So for instance, because you have a product, you're not going to go look for companies that are focused on B2B. You're not looking for companies that are focused on technology applications. And then the range of the investment is important too. If you're trying to raise $250,000 to start scaling your production, you're not going to go to an who's making multi-million-dollar investments in Series B, C, D sort of rounds. So those are the two categories I'd say to pay attention to when you're prospecting.
Yep, absolutely. And to add to that, I'm actually going to let Patrick chime in, because Patrick, you're part of a company that does have a team. So I'd like you to chime in and say, how did you form your team? Did it require venture capital or capital, or did you start by joining together with like-minded people who also believed in the mission of Chewy? So kind of give us that background, because I think it's a good conversation. If you don't have capital, how do teams get formed in the first place? So Patrick, feel free to jump in here.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I just want to say it's great to see how many of you are doing nonprofit. It's really inspiring to see use crowdfunding with. Actually, when Chewy was founded by our two co-founders, Sean Moore and Nazar Shafney, we all went to school together, and they actually founded Chewy while in a hotel room in Morocco. So there's a pretty interesting story behind it. At the time, I was doing Teach for America, and then went to some policy work and communications work. So what they found at the beginning was kind of the business mind CEO, and then Nazar was like the brilliant technical self-taught coder, was able to do hardware and software, and that's how the initial team formed. I came on after the product was developed, after Chewy had been accepted into an accelerator, and I came on to do communications and outreach. So basically, Tiffany, what you were talking about a little earlier with your question is I was able to use my communications background to come in, build up our social platforms and influence, which is amazing how you can make how you can get people to purchase your product or come to your crowdfunding site with really a $0 marketing budget. Just using a way to build up target followers on Twitter especially, and then reaching out to reporters from there has been huge for us. I would also encourage you to go use all of the free press release flyers. You can actually go on, put up a press release, and you can send it for free. Whereas some other companies charge about $800 to send out a press release, these ones, they may not be in the biggest publications, but they get your word out there, they boost your SEO score, they make you more visible all across the internet. So that's kind of forming a team, and early on too, you have to find people who are dedicated, I guess. I think that's a huge thing, and because oftentimes with this startup, there's not a lot of money to be paid at the beginning. People are probably taking pay cuts to go join it, but you need to find those people where the expertise are, and they need to know what they're good at and stay in their lanes. It's been huge for us, and I'm just really lucky that I know two people that were able to develop an awesome product and then be able to come in.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, so it's that's a big part of it. Is a lot of times you know each other from college. You just go on different paths, and then you kind of come back and you end up doing something together. I also wanted to kind of share with you, Tiffany. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are sites where you can actually find team members who would believe in your actual project. So let me just quickly share my screen here for a moment. And I know Nick LaFond is also a very good source to find team members, but one site that I know of is called founderdating.com. So it's a funny site. It's not like dating romantically, but you're trying to date other startup founders who are also looking for more co-founders.
Okay.
So if you were to go to this site, founderdating.com, that would be a great resource to find like-minded people who might want to help you in your company. Additionally, there's another company I know about called Co-Founders Lab. I'm not so much using them at the moment, but I know they're out there. This is a meetup-based organization that recently just became affiliated with a crowdfunding platform called Rock the Post, and they created a new company as a result. They created OneVest, but if you go to cofounderslab.com, you can create a profile, and this does matchmaking based on what your needs are in a company co-founder. So this is a great site. The last site, also another one that I like as well, is f6s.com. This is really another place to find co-founders, but it's also a great place to find deals on services. So not only do they have places where you could build your company profile and meet other
What's it called?
It's called
F6S?
Yes, F6s.com. And the great thing about this is, you know, you could search the deals that they have for services. A lot of these things are free. You know, actually, here's a good one right here. I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit here. But I see one that says free pitch deck templates, and that's what we just talked about. So you could go here and get this template, Tiffany, and all of a sudden you're now, you know, you're now essentially going to have what you need to begin pitching to investors.
Wow.
I actually have a pitch deck and a business plan all together. You know, I'm sitting here as I'm listening. I think that I do have a team. Well, my PR actually helps me with everything. Phyllis Panetta from Baby Swags. She's been doing, I mean, when I say invaluable to everything, I don't have the reach nor the marketing savvy that she has. And she has absolutely put me in places where I could, you know, I'm able to pitch to news agencies and magazines and everything. So I guess I'm headed in the right direction. At this point, I just need funding to increase production. You know, because the market is out there. You know, people are asking about the product and everything. But I'd like to go national. That's it.
Great. Then if you need funding, I'm going to show you one last place where I think is another great place to network. This is angellist.co, or it's angel.co. This one is very interesting. What happens here is, and by the way, actually, I have to say a disclaimer.
Okay.
It's not a general solicitation for securities. We're not raising capital on the show. We're just educating entrepreneurs on what's available in case they wanted to raise capital. So what I'm showing right now is not a solicitation for securities, so please do not construe it as such. So you can join angel.co. I have my own personal profile here, and what I do is I use it as a network to meet angel investors. So I followed a lot of people, and of course a lot of them didn't follow me back, but 498 of them did. And I haven't really used this yet because I'm not in the market to raise capital right away, but the people who followed me back are investors, right? So like, look, for instance, this young lady, Yen Fu, I actually am speaking with her next week. She is an investor who has invested in 6 confirmed investments, and she invests $10,000 to $50,000. And these are all the different investments she invested in. So because she followed me back, I now can message her directly, and we can actually set up a time to chat. So if you're looking for a place where the investors are, and these people are looking for deal flow on AngelList, you have a huge opportunity to network with people who actually can make a difference in your business. And you know, if they follow you back, that means that you have the opportunity to message them. You know, another interesting guy here, I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but this guy is co-founder of Barbara Corcoran Ventures, and you know Barbara Corcoran, she's the female shark on Shark Tank. So this guy has had 14 confirmed investments, a lot of capital, as you can see, over 250,000 they invest sometimes, and it shows you all the ones that they've invested in. So this is known as equity crowdfunding. I believe it's under Title II equity crowdfunding, and currently, as a startup, any startup can come to this site, and and network and try to find investors for their company. But the only people who are allowed to invest in these companies are what are known as accredited investors, meaning individuals who make $250,000 a year or are worth $1 million in net worth. So if you wanted to invest in a private company at Current, you have to be accredited first. But what's exciting about the equity crowdfunding is they have a provision that should be implemented shortly, hopefully within the next few months, where anyone, regardless of income, will soon be able to invest. So that's coming shortly. But I wanted to share this site with everyone on the line because a lot of people. Does
that go for all the investors that are on your profile? You have to have a capital like that in order to approach these investors, or was it just that certain investor, Phil Nadell?
No, actually, you just need to build a profile that is pretty robust. You want to make sure that you give an investor a lot of information as far as what your business is, because the thing is, you have to be in sales, so to speak. You have to be able to promote yourself in a manner that shows these investors the opportunity. And so, as you saw, there was about 11,000 people that I followed, and I'm not embarrassed to share that. I mean, heck, like Nick said, maybe 1% of venture capitalists will ever invest in you. So out of the 11,000 I followed, 500 followed me back. So that means I have access to 500 potential startups who might want to be on my show, or investors who might want to invest in one of the startups that I work with, or in Reality Crowd TV themselves. So it is a bit of a numbers game, but if you don't reach out to someone, then you're not going to get anywhere.
That's
you're
right.
just going to be spinning your wheels.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've got a question.
Sure.
It might pertain to Nick, or anyone for that matter. I'm starting just from the beginning and working my way out. I've been working with entrepreneur Steve Harrison, and I've made my first video, and I have absolutely no idea what I have done because it's reached nobody, all right, on YouTube, and it's a flop. I didn't have a hook. I've learned about hooks and how I advertised myself. It's just a mess. But I really don't. I really need to figure out how to make this make a video and several videos on YouTube and how to get it out to the social media. So I could get some. Get people to watch my videos and get some advertising going. Wouldn't you think that would be a good idea for my show? Anyone?
Sure. Nick, I don't know if you'd want to answer that, or if I should maybe go to YouTube real quick and maybe you could talk over me. But I can show you something quick on YouTube that might help you a little bit. But Nick, before I do that, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I'd like Nick's information, if that would be all right. I'm really excited. If you think I'd have any opportunity at all coming your way to pitch you, or maybe you might know somebody. I mean, it can't hurt to try.
Sure. And actually,
at the end of the show,
you have to do that offline, Rita, too. We can't have any pitching live.
Oh no, I'm not going to pitch him now. I just thought I didn't know. I don't know how to get a hold of anyone on this show. How would we go about something like that?
We'll connect everybody afterwards for sure.
Oh, okay. All right, great. Yeah, but if you could show me how to make a YouTube video, I really would. That would really help me if someone could show me that.
Actually, that's something that I that's from staying up all night, learned how to do. There are a lot of video editing software. There are a lot of video programs that will help you even make videos. I don't want to name any of them right now because I'm not affiliated with any of them, but I can definitely help you with that. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some of the videos that I made by myself. It took some work, but I can definitely help you out on that. if you'd like my help.
It's just after it's made, I don't know how to get it out there for people to see.
You have you use your social media platform. You use your Facebook, you use your Twitter, and you basically you talk about it. You talk about your product, talk about your lead people to that to YouTube. You post your link. And that's how you do that. You don't want to. And what I've learned is you don't pitch. You make yourself like a person. Like Nick said. If you look at my Facebook, my business Facebook account, I don't just talk about Bebe Pod Pants 24/7 because you'll lose people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you do is.
Rita, let me chime in. I want to show you something that you might not be aware of on here. If
okay.
You're new to YouTube.
I am.
Okay, so I just clicked on. Actually, what's your channel name? What is your channel?
The Serenity Show.
Let's just see what we got here. The Serenity Show. Rita Hodges, right?
Okay, there's one right there. Yeah.
Okay, so which one would you like me to?
See, and there's the problem. See, on Rita Hodges, I made these shows that should have been on the Serenity Show, but they ended up on my personal account.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. So we'll have to talk about that offline. But let me show you first, kind of how to share this. So this one was uploaded a week ago with only 15 views. So this is what I would do if I were you. Just from a very.
And most of those views were from me.
Hey, no worries. Hey, we all got to start somewhere, and it is hard to get views. So okay, so you click on this link, and we're at your video, right?
Okay.
There's a button here that says share. So let me actually zoom in so you can see this clearly.
Yeah, I know about that.
So this is how we're going to do it, right?
Okay.
Let me just show you. So you click share, and what you should do for every video is you should click on every single one of these and share them. Even though they're going to Russia, it doesn't matter. Like, so what I'm saying is, so you click on the Facebook, right?
Okay.
And it would go, basically, you type whatever you want to say in.
Okay.
And then you would click share, and it goes directly to your Facebook. Right?
Okay.
You would also go through and do Twitter. Everything basically. But here's the thing. If you do this for every video that you post out, at least it's getting out there into the universe, right?
Yeah.
That right there is the most basic thing you could do, and anyone can do this. It's the most basic thing you can do. Now, what you also can do is you have your website, the serenityshow.net, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what I would also do here is, if you do not have a blog currently associated with your website, what I would do is I would create a blog, and then I would simply use the show as a piece of content to post on your website, and then you can literally share your website link directly to the show, and now you're getting website.
I got in new events is where I put my shows.
Perfect. So you would be able to write certain blog posts promoting your website as well. To give you an indication, because I just want to show you how this works real quick with Reality Crowd TV. Every episode that we end up recording, we then create a blog post for it, and we have it under the episodes tab.
Uh-huh.
And so right here, all I did was I created content for my website.
Oh, wow.
Embedded my video here, gave a little description, and now directly from my website I can share it across all the social media.
See, that is so cool.
So that right there, it's pretty basic, but a lot of people, have a hard time implementing it, and it takes discipline in order to continually, after you do a video, you have to write about it. After you write about it, you have to share it. And if you don't do those things regularly, then you're missing out on an opportunity for people to discover you.
That's right. That's right.
I wanted to give you that, and then I'm going to let someone else chime in. Is anyone else good at promoting YouTube videos? Would anyone like to chime in on that?
Can I ask, Rita, are you tagging or meta tagging whenever you put up a video?
I don't know how to do that.
So when people search, it should allow you. You should be able to go into edit and to be able to add tags. You just type in different audiences or things you're trying to reach. So you want to type in Serenity Show, probably Blog Talk is a separate tag, and then that way people search for you in your videos, they'll be more likely to find you.
So, is that what that means? What the tag you put in, like the name of my show or Blog Talk Radio or groups, things like that, or people's different names?
Yes, and then you could also do like a general.
Whoops.
So
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, Patrick? You can also what?
You want to put your name, the name of your radio show, Blog Talk Radio could be one, and then different general topics that if you were searching for something, you'd want your videos to show up.
Really? Yeah. No, see, I didn't know that. No, I'm not doing that.
So let me show you something and what I think you mean. So in YouTube, what I just did, right? If I were to start at my channel, I want to show you what I think, what I believe Patrick was mentioning.
Well, please show me.
So you go to the video manager, which is across the top of your channel.
Uh-huh.
And it shows any video that you've ever done previously. So if I were to click on, let's say, this one, and I click edit.
Uh-huh.
What Patrick, I believe, was saying was right here is where you can add tags. You could add keywords that if people. Yeah. So in other words, like if I'm going to delete this after, but if I wanted to say Serenity.
I think I did that.
Yeah, like that right there is now, if someone ever types in Serenity Show.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that I did, and I made a thumbnail. But what I was trying to do was get those videos over to the Serenity Show and out of my personal account, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Hey, Rita, I think that you should probably, like, maybe even take a, there are a lot of things on YouTube to help you. Like, this is how I learned things. I took webinars. Lots of webinars, lots of how-to videos. Whenever I didn't know something, I went out and I sought it out. You may need to do those things. You know what I mean? Like a couple videos, they will help you.
I watched all kinds of videos, and maybe I'm just not advertising enough, and that could be the key. Not getting it out there enough and paying attention to it. And it just not being an exciting video. I don't have a hook to it. It's brand new, and I have a lot to learn.
I've seen some videos that are doing actually quite well, and they don't seem to be as good. I think when you have YouTube, you have your personal account, you have your business account. Did you set up 2 accounts?
Yeah, I have my Serenity Show, and then I have Rita Hodges, and I guess I didn't know I was on Rita Hodges when I made these videos, and they were meant to be on Serenity Show.
Okay, well, delete them from your personal account, and then add them to your Serenity Show account.
How would I delete them, then add them to my...
We can, you know what, we can speak after the show.
Okay, that sounds great.
I will help you as much as I can.
Okay, appreciate
it. So I'll definitely help you.
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
All right, we got that taken care of. Thank you, Manolis.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And any other questions? I think, I don't know if Roxanne, you had a question, or if Denarius, you had a question. Did you have any? Oh, actually, Nick had a question. Nick, what's your question?
Well, thanks. Actually, I wanted to just chime in and give my 2 cents on the whole thing with the promotion. The advice that I would give you, Rita, is if you don't have a ton of time to really learn and master this, you're probably better off finding somebody to do it for you, somebody that has experience with it. The other thing is that the way that you're going to get that video to have views is actually a lot of people seeing the video. And the only way to do that is to get it in front of them in all sorts of different channels. Like Manolis was showing you, to be able to share it on all the different things on YouTube, right? So depending on what the organic reach you have through your network is, right? It could be 100, it could be 1,000. You know, you're only limited to that unless you get other people to share it too. So typically, videos that are getting a lot of views and a lot of reach, they're, number one, the content is good, and you know, you start with that and make the content as good as possible. Optimize it with the keywords, like the other gentleman was saying, and then really you got to get people to share that. So whether you're paying for that or whether you're you know, approaching people and influencers in that industry and saying, hey guys, this is some cool content, take a look at it, we'll love you to share it if you have the time to do it, something like that.
Yeah, you're right. I appreciate that. Thank you, Nick.
And Rita, actually, I'll also say this. I would have you, you know, here's the thing, right? We live in a world where everyone wants instant gratification, right? We put out a video and we don't see the views we want, and then we think there's something wrong with us. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong like with the video, right? The video content is probably what it is, because you know that, like, people will forgive content that may not be good, or it may be great and just people haven't seen it. But what I would say to you is, you want to be able to understand all social media at a certain extent, so that you know at least how to do it if you had the time. Because, like, you know, but before you go out and ask someone to do it for you, I'd recommend that you know how to do it, and to a level where you say, if I had the time, I would do this.
Yeah.
Because if you completely put it out there to somebody else, like, you don't know if they're saying, you know, they know how to do it when really they don't, and they're just trying to make a quick buck. Like, it's a world of sharks out there. Not even, you know, it's not even Shark Tank, and there's a world of sharks out there, right?
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine someone doing my own passion. That's my passion for my show and my belief, and I just can't imagine someone being able to have that same kind of passion for what I do. So I just can't see someone else making that video for me.
Yeah, no, the video for you, I'm mainly talking about the promotion side of it. So, like, you know, for me, you know, you want to get the video out there. So the video content is not why there's not any views, is what I'm telling you. The promotion is what's missing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm saying for you is that you should really, you know, study this social media stuff, because this is something that you can do at no cost to you except your time.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I've had sharks try and rip me off already with web pages and getting me out here and there and that. Yeah. So don't worry. I won't let someone get the best of me or my money. So, yeah, been
Rita,
down that road.
Yeah, Rita, you don't look like someone who takes crap from anybody. So, hey, you know, I love it.
You learn from experience, darling. The blonde is not real, so.
Absolutely.
Can y'all hear me now?
Hey, welcome.
Can you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, my name is Keith Eberhard. I formerly worked in the industry for 30 years. I'm an entrepreneur. Hopefully, sometime soon, I'll be able to come on here as an investor. I heard a lot of very interesting individuals and, you know, the stuff that they're doing. I have a couple of foundations that we work with. One of them is for men that were physically and sexually abused. We have a few others that are dealing with children that was physically and sexually abused. But one of the biggest things that, you know, I'd like to ask everyone, just because one of my specialties is marketing. In everything that you do, you have to make sure you're presenting yourself in your best dress clothing. You have to make sure that regardless of anything, you're walking into everything that you do as it looks that you're walking into an investor knowing that that check is on the table. You have to prepare yourself. You have to polish yourself up. And one of the greatest things that I think your name is Manolis?
Yes.
The greatest thing that I heard Manolis say was you have to endure understanding the social network menagerie and masses. It's when you're into certain fields, it becomes a little easier. I mean, me being in the music field, I have 10 children. I've learned things from my children. Yeah, I seen that right there. So, you know, basically it's one of those, you have to take a little bit of time and study and pay attention to it. You know, one of my former bosses was on Shark Tank. I was the marketing director for Fubu Entertainment. And, you know, you have to take out that time. So if there's anything that I can help anyone with, you know, feel free to, you know, send me an invite, you know, through Gmail. And, you know, whatever information I could possibly help with, you know, let's make it happen. Because, I mean, this entrepreneurial situation that we all have ourselves in is very vital to making sure that our network, even what we're doing here, becomes vital to each other. So we have to build ourselves up on that aspect individually.
Absolutely. That was very profound. Thank you. I'm really happy your audio works now. You know?
For some reason my iMac is not, it was giving me problems, so I just said, let me get on the iPad. So I know the iPad works, I don't have no problem with that.
That's awesome. Excellent. Great. So, Denarius, I haven't heard from you, and I haven't heard from Roxanne. So, Denarius, do you have any questions or commentary? And you have to unmute yourself, I believe.
Yes, you're right. Thank you for that.
Cool.
Yeah, I do understand where everyone's coming from, and it's so true. The promotion of the social media is a big boost on what you want to do for yourself. You have to go through social media. It's honestly, I'm 21 years old, so I'm in the big boom of what social media is for my age group, despite whatever ages most people who are watching this.
Bro.
Social media creates dreams. Social media promotes who you are, and social media will bring your vision to life. From anyone who's ever been successful nowadays, I'll go back to Justin Bieber. Everyone who knows Justin Bieber, he became famous from YouTube, but he shared his videos from YouTube to Facebook. Same thing with Lady Gaga. She posted her from YouTube, and she got popular through Twitter. Same thing with Ashton Kutcher. The social media boost nowadays is so beneficial on anyone who wants to be successful with their passion behind their personal brand. You get that image for yourself, but the only way you'll get that image is honestly promoting yourself. You have to have the confidence behind what you want to do for yourself. You just have to go about it by sharing it through all the multiple medias. Once people see your face there, they're going to see your face there, and they're going to want to see who your face is here, personally. And social media is a big influence on anyone, so anyone who wants to better themselves, you have to get your face out there.
Absolutely.
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 Thank you.
Great. And Roxanne, did you have something you'd like to share, or did you have a question?
Well, I put it all in comments if we're running out of time, if anybody wants to answer.
Oh, and actually, we can go as long as anyone else wants to go. This show isn't only an hour. We can go longer than an hour. So please, you know, if you have a question, you could ask it now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Roxanne. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I found out from TEDMed that they are going to put a banner up with Seizures of Day nonprofit, and this is going to be in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. Their yearly meeting with, they finally have all their the people that are going to give their presentations, and it's online now. But you can go to their TEDMed website and see that it's going to be posted there. You can see it. So they gave me the permission to get people be able to watch it on Hangout, Google+, so I can promote it. And I, of course, being TEDMed, if anybody knows anyone, medical field or anything like that, get in touch with me, and it'll be able to give me, I guess, a promotion or something like that. They can see Seizure of the Day. Just wanted to let you know that. It helps me. So and that's great for me. All I had to do was ask and put in fill out an application, and I was chosen. So that was great.
Wow. So
Good for you.
Yeah, it helps.
Specifically, what did you get chosen for?
So it's a nonprofit. I could have gotten, if I had somebody that would promote me to be able to go, pay for me to attend the meeting, I could actually be there in person. But since I didn't, they got to choose so many people to be able to watch it on Hangouts, since I'm with Google. So they chose me. And I just got the information yesterday. I had to fill out the form of how I wanted my banner to be, for it to be posted on the wall with all these other people they chose. And so it'll be, I forgot the date. I'll have to let you know. It's in the end of September, but I can invite people and give them the date and time that they can view it, and they get to choose which people they want to hear. So, and it'll have my name on it. I'm so happy. Sort of.
Great. Congratulations, Roxanne. That's excellent news.
Spreads my word. So.
Excellent.
One of the well, I didn't let y'all know what I did. I own a marketing company. We also do logos, websites, banners. Anybody that has a nonprofit, one of the things that we do for nonprofits is design logos, banners. So if anyone needs any help with that, that's a free of charge.
Wow. There you go.
Have that done for you. As long as we're a part of this hangout, you know, Manolis, one of the things that I truly believe in is making sure that you extend yourself to help each other. If there's any situations or things that we can possibly do to help you or anyone else that's here, you know, please feel free to contact me. You know, I'm on Twitter, I'm on everything. So you'll be able to find me. Just let me know what you need, the time frame you need it in. And, you know, we also do small and mid-sized business consulting. So we can basically let y'all know, and that's another situation that I'm going to offer everyone here on Hangout. If there's anything that you could possibly need when it comes to the marketing, and I can steer you in the right direction, or at least steer you in a direction where it's cost effective, please let me know about that. Any other situations that you may feel you need questions on, you know, feel free to contact me. It's not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's really, thank you for the offer. That's really nice. And I may take that up on you for sure. Take you up on that. So what I'd like to do now, if you guys have the time, and if anyone does have to leave, that's no problem. You guys don't have to feel pressure to stay the whole time. But I did have a presentation I wanted to quickly go through on social media and promoting your crowdfunding campaign, and that might give some additional tools and resources to anyone who was looking to kind of learn how to do the social side of it. So what I'll also say to the audience is, and anyone on the show, if you go to our website, realitycrowdtv.com, and fill out a contact form, I will send you this presentation. You know, just mention on the contact form that you're submitting because of the presentation, and I'll send you this exact presentation so that you don't have to take any notes right now. So does everyone see my screen at the moment?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to breeze by this and really focus on the main areas here, because there's really some important pieces here. So just to level set as far as how big crowdfunding is becoming, back in 2009, the crowdfunding industry as a whole had raised about $1 billion globally. Flash forward to 2013, it is now up to $5.1 billion a year globally. And so crowdfunding is accelerating. The World Bank had released a report that back in November of 2013 that said in 20 years, crowdfunding is going to be a $90 billion a year industry. So this isn't a fad. This is here now in the very early stages, but the way things are projected to grow, it's becoming very, very interesting what's happening in America and all over the world. So one of the things I'd also like to level set with is, you know, a crowdfunding campaign is called a campaign for a reason. This isn't something where you have a great idea one day and the next week you're throwing yourself up on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or one of these other websites. You're not going to raise any money if you do it that way, because you haven't put the time and effort in order to promote yourself and in order to treat this like the campaign that it is. And so this presentation is really geared toward social media, but the campaign in general, to run a crowdfunding campaign, there's really 9 stages that all campaigns go through one way or another. So just to quickly let you know, it's your business plan, it's your intellectual property, it's your social media, your PR strategy, your campaign strategy, networking and team building, website development, profile and video, and finally rewards and fulfillment. So the piece we're going over right now is really just the social media, but this is really a huge endeavor, and you should plan 3 to 6 months at a minimum before you ever hit the fundraise button. And why is that important that you plan? Because essentially what you're doing before you ever launch the fundraise button is you're lining up pledges to really contribute to your project right in the first week of you launching your project. So if you receive the number that keeps being thrown out there is 30% of your funding goal. If you can receive 30% of your funding goal within the first week of your campaign, the current statistics show that project creators who have done that have a 90% chance to raise the remaining amount of their goal. Now, why is that? Number one, they have momentum, which means they have a following that is really supporting them. In order to properly execute 30% of funding, that means a lot of people have been following you, you've built a lot of relationships, and they all were coordinated to put in 30% of your funding in the first week. So naturally, those people are going to remain engaged as they see all the work that you're doing and all the momentum that is building. Secondly, from the PR perspective, when a journalist or a blogger sees a successful campaign raise that amount of money within the first week, because they're inundated with tons of projects that are pitched to them daily, they really only want to write about the ones that are winning. It's an unfortunate piece of PR, but because they get thousands of pitches in any given week, they're going to filter through and only really select the ones that are winning, in addition to having the great pitch. But they really want to see, is there traction, is there a backing, is there credibility to what this person has done. So that's really what crowdfunding is all about. I won't say that in every circumstance that a lack of planning will result in a failed campaign. I don't want that, because there are circumstances where that happens. But for the most part, you don't want to leave your campaign to chance. You want to develop a good strategy to end up executing it. So before I go on to really developing your social media strategy, was there any questions on anything that I just said? Okay. No questions. Okay. So really the social media strategy, and this is really a strategy that could apply to PR and just your business planning in general, you want to ask yourself 3 key questions. Why, who, and where? So the why is, why should anyone other than you care about what your mission is? No one wants to hear what's in it for you. They want to hear what's in it for them. And one of the biggest mistakes that people are making in a crowdfunding campaign is they make it too much me-centric as opposed to making it backer-centric, the people that are going to contribute to your campaign. So this is where you really develop your pitch. You really want to have a good reason why anyone other than yourself is going to care about what you're doing. The second key piece to this is who. And the who piece of this really applies to who are the individuals who will care about your why. These people may have like a young child who needs a great new product like Bebe Pod Pants. If you're trying to target people who don't care about your product, you're wasting your time and energy. You want to go where the people that would care about your why congregate. And that leads us to the last question of where. So now that you know your why and now that you know who the people are who care about your why, the final step is go where those people are. You wouldn't go to a food blogger if you have a product, that has nothing to do with food. You would go, where the people congregate that actually care about what you're doing. So I'd like to kind of stop here for a moment and just, see what you all think of what was just said. Does that make sense to everybody on the line?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think one of the... Go ahead. Was that Patrick? Was you going to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, Patrick, you go ahead. But speak up, Patrick.
Yeah, your volume's low, Patrick. Go ahead.
All right, I was just going to add from earlier with Rita's questions about YouTube views. I think this is perfect segue into that because it's not so much about the views, but you want people who actually care.
Yes, I agree.
Whether have 50 loyal listeners and 1,000 people that are also looking at like cats fighting and what else is popular really on YouTube these days. I just think this was a great thing to put in that.
Yeah, I read that when I was listening to one of their videos. It wasn't so much how many views, because they could quit right in the middle of it also. It was what was more important, how many people subscribe, because your subscribers are more likely to come back and listen and watch more of your videos than those that just click on to view. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I would also suggest, even on your YouTube pages and everything that you do, always make sure you brand yourself. Brand what you're doing. Put your website up. Put keywords that they may be able to go on Facebook and see the certain things, or like in other social media outlets. Because a lot of times people miss out on those small things. A lot of times you'll see something and you'll see something really, really interesting, but because they never put up their website and they just said it, you kind of lose the translation of, okay, where was it at? And then you have to go back and find it. Always try to make sure you brand yourself at the beginning and at the end of what you're doing with the stuff that you put up in everything, even in print.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely, and it's good for search engine optimization too. When you have links in your YouTube videos, it's a way to drive traffic to your website. So that is a very important piece of this.
I found with my blog, because it's lives with epilepsy. I first started writing about mine, but then I thought, well, got tired of this. I don't want to remember mine. So I found, I knew people with theirs, and it's amazing what they do with their life. And that's brought more attention because it's what they do, and it's brought more attention. And I'm not bragging, but I'll brag about the people.
Go ahead and brag, Roxanne. It's all good.
Exactly.
It is. One of them, did you know there's a pageant for disabled women?
Yes, I did know that.
Did you? Well, I wrote, there's one in North Carolina, and I knew the lady that won it, so I wrote one about her, and you can see her in her wheelchair, and she even designs dresses now for ladies in wheelchairs, for dresses.
You know what I would say too, Roxanne, and basically this goes out to everyone. One of the most unutilized situations is brand and facial recognition. If you know these people, get the pictures, tag them. Yeah. Because what happens now is, my example is a perfect thing. My older kids, when I was in the music industry, they loved it. They met all the celebrities. I had my younger kids, and my younger kids was looking at me like, yeah, right, Pop. Yeah, right. You know them. And it was because when you work in the industry, you don't look at it as a fan base. You don't look at it as these are your friends. These are your coworkers. These are your business associates. So you're not taking those pictures. It becomes mandatory today than it was 10, 20 years ago. It's one of those things that you want to say, okay, this is the lady that just won the pageant for, being disabled. You take a picture with her, you hashtag her, you send it in there, because now her friends are communicating with you. And that's one of the easiest ways and quickest ways to build your network. Anything else.
She even surfs. Can you imagine? Being in a wheelchair, I even have her on a surfboard in my.
Now that's a good content to have on your thing to say, well, look, not only did she do this, but she even surfs. Those are the things that that YouTube has branded people who come up with these cat little videos and this and that, that really in reality on a business level is just having you sitting there like, really? Did they just, spend the last 2 hours just doing this? But it draws so much attention because it is something abstract. So utilize those abstract things to help you network and brand yourself.
Absolutely. Great advice, guys. Absolutely. Soon we're going to head into the social networks, and I know Nick. I'd like Nick to go over something in a little bit when we get to that point, because Nick is really good at engaging on social media. So do you guys see the presentation again?
Yeah. Can I ask a question for Nick before you head into that? Nick, me and my partners are now venturing into concert promotions. And one of the things that we're doing now, and I just wanted to ask your advice on this, one of the things that we're doing now is getting into the crowdfunding situation, because the deals that we're putting together and the agreements that we're putting together is any investments that are put in, we double their money and then add 10 to 20% on their return. So I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think about, a situation like that?
It sounds to me like you're talking about equity crowdfunding.
Yes.
Well, the first thing I'll say is just be really careful with how you approach that right now. Certainly, it's limited to accredited investors only, and you got to be very careful on what you say about it publicly.
Gotcha.
As far as the entertainment industry goes, not really my area of expertise, but one way that I do see it intersecting with crowdfunding, and I mean rewards-based crowdfunding, is when we're talking music and live events and entertainment, I think there's a massive opportunity to use some sorts of rewards based on attending those and getting access to that content, and any way that you can add value and excitement to the process. For instance, if you were doing a crowdfunding campaign for some sort of event, you can offer backstage passes or meet and greets with the artist and that sort of thing. To me, that seems like a really cool way to approach that and get people excited, and also to contributing to those campaigns.
Got you. Because we're looking at doing something like that consists of coming up with $2 to $3 million in order to host one event. But that, when I say $2 to $3 million, we're talking about a tour. We have a tour that we're getting ready to do, a 13-city tour. And one of the things we want to utilize now is the crowdfunding platform, because it puts us in a simpler situation of having different people come in and build up to what it is that we need in order to, as the cardinal rule in business is, not use your own money, to build it up into a situation where you're sustainable amongst having these different resources that can help you do larger things. Here in Florida, where I'm from, there was a company called AEG, and AEG kind of hurt themselves because they had the contract for Michael Jackson's world tour. And unfortunately, with that incident that happened with Michael Jackson's death, it kind of put a marred situation on AEG, and the only company that's really been huge here has been Live Nation. So now we're stepping into the arena, and we're looking at that as being a viable, situation for people crowdfunding-wise, in order to get involved in that entertainment industry. And I'm glad you said that, because I really wasn't thinking about utilizing, even for smaller, investors, the backstage passes and the meet and greets, because we do have those all the time. We do host those all the time with, with a whole bunch of people, including the corporate individuals that buy the box seats, for their companies. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I'll definitely start utilizing that. And if it works out to its, benefit, there's a kickback for that, brother. No, I'm joking, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Great.
Sure.
Great. So we'll head back into it then. Okay, so I want to touch upon a little bit of the where, because the where is kind of where a lot of people don't really know where to go. So, let's take Bebe Pod Pens for example, and I guess I'll ask some questions in a moment. But with all these social networks, there's groups, and LinkedIn especially is very powerful for groups. You have groups specifically for angel investors, for venture capital. You have groups for business development. So just a little search of keywords that might help somebody with their specific industry or product can come up with a plethora of different areas in which to actually meet individuals who might be interested in your product. One of the best ways to find customers and other people is, look at your competitors. If you have a direct competitor, you want to look at who's following them. Who are the people that are following your competitors who are buying from them currently, and go in that area and find a way to get them to be your follower on social media. That's one of the best ways not to reinvent the wheel. Go where the customers are already buying, and that's looking at a competitor. Mm-hmm. Communities. Google Plus has communities. There's forums specific to Kickstarter and Indiegogo. There's real estate specific social networks. You have the hashtags across all the platforms, and of course there's just other companies that are in your specific industry ecosystem that will really get you there. So actually, what I'd like to do is I'm going to quickly go and just show you what I mean by these LinkedIn groups, and then I'm going to then have Nick go into Twitter so he could show you how you could search for hashtags and really find people that you might want to engage with. So
thank you. I don't know what hashtags are.
Yes. So I'll do that now. So here's what you want to do, right? So if you guys aren't using LinkedIn currently, then you need to. You need to create an account and start using LinkedIn. How it works is if you want to search for something, and I'm going to increase the size here so people can understand. This is just the random homepage of LinkedIn. If you want to find a group that is specific to clothing, you would go here and you go down and you see there's groups here. Now, by clicking that, I'm going to search anything in groups for a certain term. And let's just put in clothing. I'm just going to click enter and just see what pops up. Now, look at this. Just this one search in groups has come up with 1,800 groups that you could potentially look into that are active. Now, here's the thing, though, too. LinkedIn only allows you to have 50 groups at any one time, so you want to choose wisely. And so the way that I would choose a group is I would look to see how active it is, very active, and how many members there are, 39,000. So this makes it easy for you because it shows you which groups have the most members, and this one might be a great place to join and network. So right now I'm not going to go in there yet because I've reached my limit, but let's just say I did want to go into my groups and I wanted to network, right? So you would click join, let's say on the fashion, and I'm going to show you my groups here. Let's just say I wanted to network in this group that I joined called the, a startup community. Once you join a group, you could just look down and see a whole bunch of different people posting various articles or various questions. And if there was someone that I found that was interesting, I would end up clicking on their post, and I would end up wanting to speak with them. So here's one thing. Let's just say I like this one. Click on the actual conversation. And the way that I would engage with this gentleman is I would probably first read whatever article he posted, and then I would say, I would write something like, I really enjoyed reading your article. I can relate to what these two young men are doing. Would love to connect with you and determine how we may collaborate. I mean, again, I'm not going to post that here, but that's kind of like, that's usually my go-to line is, let's connect and determine how we may collaborate. And then, I would say kind regards, I would say Manolis, and I would include my email. But what you do here is, when you approach a potential individual who might be either a great person to have on your team in your company, someone who might be interested in your crowdfunding project, or just someone that you might want to connect with, you never go into sales mode for yourself. You always read who the person is. You end up wanting to understand who this guy is, and you can click on his profile and it shows you who he is. And what you really want to do is you want to ask him about him. You're not immediately going to say anything about what you do, just the fact that you like what you saw in his profile and that you'd like to collaborate in some fashion because you're both in a similar industry. But you would not say even one word really about your own company. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people, right? A lot of people will for the first time, they'll go to somebody and then they'll say, hey, Mansour, I'd love to tell you about my company. I think you'd want to invest in it. I really want to talk to you. Can you please donate to my campaign? That's spam, right? Like, you don't know the guy,
yeah.
and you're immediately asking him to invest in you. You don't want to approach it like that. The way you build a relationship with people is you make them talk about themselves. And so that's really a quick crash course on etiquette on LinkedIn, is never talk about you, always talk about them until the time comes when they ask you about you. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to go to Nick. Nick, can you do a quick Twitter tutorial about hashtags?
Hashtags, huh?
Yes.
Well, yeah, certainly. I could tell you what I know about that. Hashtags are definitely a way to group information and provide some sort of taxonomy to the whole social media messaging process. And typically, you don't want to cast a really wide net when you communicate on social media with your hashtags, but you want to use 2 or 3 hashtags, probably at the most, that really are the most pertinent and engaging keywords that somebody might be searching for if they're interested in the content you're posting. So let's see. Let me share my screen real quick, and we can talk about Twitter a little more closely. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Twitter, it's been evolving, but at the top here we have this little link called Discover, and it even has a hashtag right next to it to make it easy for you. We can go in here and look for anything like crowdfunding, and what that's going to do is show us not only a few accounts that have to do with crowdfunding, but we're looking at a live feed of people that have actually hashtagged their posts with crowdfunding. So
what can you show? Can you point to a hashtag for me?
Sure. So right here, can you see where it says is crowdfunding right here?
I'm lost.
Oh, actually, yeah. I don't know if you guys see this, but his screen is just stuck on one screen for me. Do you guys see him actually changing screens and moving his cursor?
No, I can't see him at all now. He's down at the bottom.
Okay, so then, Nick, maybe because your connection is not so good, it might be hard to follow along on your computer. Are you still there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, he's backed up now, but I don't see his cursor.
Can't see the scrolling on my screen at all.
Not at the moment, no.
No.
How about this, Nick? Do you want me to do it, and then you could talk over me?
But Rita,
Yes.
do you remember what used to be called the number sign?
Yeah.
That's a hashtag now.
Right.
The number sign is a hashtag?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
So Nick, you can actually we'll do it through me, and you could kind of walk me through it, okay?
Sure. You know what,
Okay, I
Manolis,
see.
I think I had the wrong screen on.
Did you?
Yeah. Can you see it now by chance?
Let me.
I can see you scrolling. Is that okay?
Yep, I can see it now.
Okay. Yeah. I apologize for that, guys.
Okay, I see you now. All right.
So anyways, yeah, so what I did is I went up here to this top and where it says Discover. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then I went over here and searched for a hashtag. I looked for crowdfunding, but maybe we could look for something that was a little more pertinent to the crowd. So we could look for something simple like baby, and then what we're going to see is any post that people have put out where they've also hashtagged baby in their post or put it in the post. So, like in this case, you can see where people have written about it here. Let me put the number sign in front of it to get a little more
so the
granular
number
on it.
sign, and then you write after the number sign, and that's a hashtag, like right there. What you just clicked on, that was a hashtag.
So you can see it right here.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right, so that's anybody that has actually hashtagged their Twitter post with baby. So if you were looking for people that are interested in baby and baby stuff, then this might be a good place to start because they're trying to say, hey, with this hashtag, they're trying to say, hey, this content is about baby, right? So you can assume that they're either interested in consuming that content or promoting that content or at the minimum, it's somebody that engages in that sort of a content. So they might be an influencer in your community, or maybe they're not. One thing that you're actually seeing on my screen, which you wouldn't normally see on the Twitter, is this little number next to people's usernames right here. And actually, what that is a clout score, and clout is spelled K-L-O-U-T, and that is a social media platform that basically looks at engagement for people from all different sorts of platforms and then gives them a score based on their ability to influence social media. So that's just a plugin that I have for Google Chrome that allows me to look at that. And one way that might be important is if you're looking for bloggers or if you're looking for influencers, somebody that has a higher score in that, 50, 60, 70, 80, all the way up to 100. I think Obama's the only one that has 100 a score on clout, but that's an indication of how influential that those people are in the community.
Wow, that would be good to have.
Right. So, for instance, if I look at this Your Baby Miracle, in fact, I got this little plugin it'll even pull up on the right-hand side over here. It's loading right now, but maybe now you can see it here. I could find out some information about their Twitter, meaning how many people they have following and tweets, how often they're getting retweeted and their post favorite, some bio information, and then actually down here I can see this top hashtags, right? So I can see that the most of the times they're posting about baby, pregnancy, parenting, and advice. Now I might be able to find out that information by scrolling through all of their news feed on their Twitter profile, but this is actually a quicker way to do it.
Yeah.
And then also you can see some more metrics about how are they posting to Facebook? Facebook. How are they posting to Twitter? Well, look, they're using TweetAdder. They're using an application most of the time called TweetAdder, and sometimes one called TweetDeck. So if you're not using any of those applications, that should be an indicator that other people are having some success with it, and you might want to check it out. One thing that I will mention about Twitter is this user interface that is the user-facing portal for working with Twitter. I find that is good for actually writing tweets and engaging with people and sometimes retweeting as well. and doing research. What I don't find that it's very good for is actually is pushing your content out and following and unfollowing users. And the reason is because it's extremely slow. So so let's see. If I wanted to look at people, right? I can click here on the left on this this people thing, and now it's showing me just people that have hashtagged about baby, right? So I could actually go through and manually follow some of these people. But right here, I don't get very much information about them. I mean, I see their name. I see one a tweet, or I guess a bio here that they've put. So it's I can learn a little bit information about them. But like I said, it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest way to engage on Twitter. I would recommend taking a look at some of the different tools that are available for Twitter, and one that I really like to use is called Tweepy. So let me just pull up that website here. So now I'm on my Tweepy, and it's showing me a dashboard here. But I find that this is the best way for strategic following and unfollowing of users, as well as adding people to Twitter lists, and that's more of an advanced feature. You know, we could definitely talk about that on another show or something. But you know, you want to follow people. Or let me back up here. I think the most important thing, and I've thought about this a lot, but the most important thing on Twitter for getting engagement and getting followers is being seen. Okay, and so there's a number of ways to be seen. Certainly, if you post great content all the time on Twitter, you know, you're probably going to get noticed because people want to consume that great content. But if you have 10 followers, well, you're not going to get noticed by that many people, right? So the difference between having 10 followers and 100 or 10,000 followers is night and day as far as the amount of engagement and social reach that you're going to have. So I would definitely say that for any brands, and including personal brands, you know, your number one goal should be to get followers that want to consume the content that you have. There's a number of ways to get followers. You can pay people to grow your Twitter accounts. Some of them are good, some of them are not. I happen to think that learning it on your own is probably a good place to start before you want to go pay people, just like Manolis had recommended for YouTube and social media in general. But the place that I would start for engaging with people is there's two places actually. Twitter lists I would look at, and then also looking at the followers and friends of your influencers. So let me give you an example for that. Right here on my screen, you can see that I see follow followers. So if I click on there and I take a look at a Twitter account like Reality Crowd TV, and I'll just type that in and say start following. So what it's going to do right now is go out and pull all the information from Manolis's Reality Crowd TV account right here. You can see that he's got 24,000 followers on this account. Now I'm actually seeing the accounts here, and I'm seeing some statistics on them. So I can actually, with this tool, pop open some columns and say, like, show me how many people that they're following, show me how many people are following them, and then there's another category that I find extremely important, and that is the follow ratio. Okay, so let me show you why this ratio is so important. If I actually sort this list by follow ratio, it's going to show me the people that have the greatest number of followers compared to the number that they're actually following. And from my experience, people that have over a 500% or 1,000% follower ratio, they're kind of Twitter snobs or Twitter elitists, if you will. There's a very small chance that they're actually going to follow you back, right? So for instance, like look at this person right here that they have 5,000 followers, but they're only following 500 people. You know, if you wanted to, you could click on them and you know, you could pop them open in Twitter, and then you could actually drill down and say, you know, who is this person following? You could also do that in this Tweepy tool to find out more information. Oh, look, they're following Manolis. Awesome. So what I would do if I was trying to grow a Twitter account is I would focus on people that have a follow ratio somewhere between 200% all the way down to, let's call it, at the bottom, maybe 90%, okay? So, so I could actually go quickly follow all these people. In fact, I'll do it right now just so you can see how this one works. And so I could start up here, and I could just click and say, and just go down very fast and say, follow all these people right here.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Right. So now, if I went back on and I looked at my own Twitter account, you know, I could actually see that my number of following just increased. I could click on there and say, oh wow, see, these are all the different accounts that I just, you know, quickly followed. And there's really no way to do that in a fast way on Tweepy. So, you know, the idea of follow ratio is something that I've thought a lot about and have done some experimenting with. My personal opinion is that if you follow every single person that follows you back, and you could actually automate that with tools like Just Unfollow. My opinion is that some people will consider you sort of a spam account, or somebody that is only following other people back, you know, in order to grow their account. So they might not take you as seriously. On the other hand, if you're somebody like Mark Andreessen, and you know, he's a pretty well-known venture capitalist. You know, if I open his account and see that he's got 152,000 followers and he's only following 4,000 people, you know, and I can see by this blue check mark that he has a verified account, you know, there's not a good chance that he's going to follow me back, right? So it's great if I want to follow him and check out his tweets and his feeds. But if I'm trying to grow my account, the last thing that I want to go do is follow all these blue checks that I can. Now, there is one exception to that rule. If you are Ashton Kutcher or you know, some sort of celebrity, I think you can kind of sidestep that rule. But for most of us, you know, it's going to take you a while to establish your credibility before you're able to actually get some of these verified accounts to follow you back. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It does. And just to chime in too, one key thing as well, even at a minimum, just to kind of go through the psychology of kind of the following, right? The psychology is, if you do nothing else but just follow people, the basic premise of social media is reciprocation, right? So the basic premise is, if you want more followers, you have to follow people that will follow you back. Just at a basic level, right? That's all you need to know to grow your numbers. Is in order to grow your numbers, you have to follow people. I mean, you also have to post good content, because that increases the chances of them following you back if they like your content. But at a basic level is, you follow them, they'll follow you. That's at the baseline, all you need to know. And the tools that Nick just showed you will make you target the people that care about your why. To bring it back to the original thing, the targeting is the most important piece of who you follow, because, you know, as an example, there's a coffee shop in Connecticut that I'm working with. The people that they're following right now are only people in a 15-mile radius from where their coffee shop is. And so when someone gets a notification on Twitter that down-to-earth coffee shop just followed them and they're only 15 minutes away, the psychology of that is, oh wow, this coffee shop followed me. Who is this person? Let me click on their Twitter profile. They click on the Twitter profile, there's a link to the coffee shop. They click on the link, and now they know where the coffee shop is. So do you see the power of just letting people know that you're there?
Yeah.
Like that right there, at a minimum, can really improve like your business and anyone's business who's not currently on social. The fact that everyone gets a notification when someone follows them is one of the most powerful and easiest things to do for free, and anyone can do it even right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is the number one way, guys. And when I said your goal on Twitter is to get noticed, that is the number one way to get noticed. Is if somebody if I get that notification that says, hey, this account's following me, Baby Pants is following me, right? I'm gonna go Baby Pants. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at that account and say, this person might be interesting. I'm going to follow them back. The other thing that I'm going to say is, this looks like some crappy spam account, right? It's got a picture of some girl on there, and in the bio it says, for $29 you can buy 15,000 Twitter followers. Guess what? Not following that one back.
That's right.
They can follow me all day, but I'm not going to follow them back because there's really no point, right? So let's talk about the number 2 way that I think that you can actually get noticed on Twitter, and that is lists. Okay. So a lot of people are not using lists on Twitter. I think it's probably one of the hidden gems that people have not got to figure out yet. I got some pretty cool hacks and strategies of my own that use them, but let me just quickly show you what I mean here. If I go to my Twitter account and I click on this little gear button up here and I say lists, what's going to happen is it's going to show me these 2 categories: lists that I'm subscribed to and lists that I'm a member of. Okay. Member of means that those are lists that people have added me to. So I can actually go through here and see, you know, what other list and who has added me to their list, and then also how many people are on there, right? So for instance, if I can see this list right here, James Young added me to a list called Startups, Investor, Venture Capital, and Tech, right? It has 664 members. So if I click on this list, now what I'm seeing here is a feed of similar people that he's grouped me into, right? So I could actually go through here and take a look at some of these posts and say, wow, these are some influential people. Now, one of the crappy things about this format and this user interface is I can't actually follow these people from here. So if I wanted to follow Chris Dixon or Guy Kawasaki, I'd actually have to click on them, open up a new window, go down here and say follow, okay? That's a very slow process to do. With this Tweepy tool and probably some other tools too, I can actually go down here and say follow a list. So what I'm going to do here is look for this guy's name right here, his Twitter handle that says JYDesign. Okay, I'm going to go back to Twitter list and I'm going to type in @JYDesign. Spell it right. Okay. Now that's going to pull all of his different Twitter lists. So I could go down here and say startups, investor, tech, and say get me that list.
Wow.
So what I'm doing right now is looking at this table form, and actually it's loading. Okay, here it is. A table form of everybody in that list, and there's 664 people in that list. Okay, I can sort them by their follow ratio. So look, I don't want to follow these people that have maxed out the Twitter ratio. They got one friend, right? They're only following 2 people on Twitter or 1 person on Twitter. There's no chance they're going to follow me, right? So there's no way I'm going to go follow them first. I can also sort this by last tweet. So if I make this sorting right now, I can see that these people that have actually tweeted in the last few minutes. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so these people are very active on Twitter. It would probably be a good idea to follow them. I can also make some different sorts, right? So I'll cut to the chase here, guys. I want to follow some people in certain ratios, but I don't want to follow people that haven't been active on Twitter. So I'm going to go in here and set a filter and say, hey, I want to only look at now people that have tweeted in the last, let's call it 2 days, okay? So I can make that sorting right there, and then I can look for it from a top down and go down and say, okay, I usually like to start, because my account now has some notoriety, I can start up here in the 500 range. If you're just starting your account, it's a little more difficult. I can go through here and mass follow these people, okay? And this is a super targeted way to build this audience, because I already know that they do something similar to what I do. They're going to look at my account and say, oh yeah, this is an influencer that is in my industry. Good chance that they're going to want to follow me back. And also I've filtered it so that they're active on Twitter, okay? And now I'll quickly share some secret sauce too. I can actually set, because I have the paid account. You can't do this in the free account, but I can actually set a default list, right? So I have my own list that say, you know, when we're talking about venture capital and angel investors, okay? And I'll show you real quick how you create a list. I know I'm jumping around here. If I go to the list in my Twitter, I can say create a list, create a new list right here. I can name that list anything I want. But I suspect that for you, you're going to want to create some lists that are targeted to the people that you want to influence, as well as maybe some of the influencers in the same sector that you're in. So after I create that list, I go back into Tweepy and I say select this default list, VC Angel Investor. I can say OK. And let me go back down so now all these people that I've just followed, they're going to get a notification that I followed them. Typically what I'll do is I'll wait a couple days, 2 or 3 days, and I'll see through this tool if these people have followed me back or not. If they haven't, I'm going to go get in front of them again. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to add them to one of my lists. So now that I've selected that angel investor list as my default one, I'm actually going to go through and make a whole bunch of clicks. So you can see what's going to happen over here is this little tool is going to say successfully added to a list, successfully added to a list. I'm going to go back through and go finish that down. So what that did was add a lot of people to this list, and so they got another notification that says, hey, Nick LaFawn added you to a list called VC Angel. What is it called here? Startups Investor VC Tech, right?
I see now. I was wondering why you did that, but you know what? You're right, because whenever I get added to a list, it kind of makes you feel good. You know what I mean? It makes you feel like someone cares enough to add you to a list. So that second notification is very powerful.
Yeah. This is one thing that people are not talking about and writing about yet, and it's strictly a growth hacking technique that I've developed on my own. There's a couple ways to go about it. One way you can do is you can target people and add them to a list first. See how many follow you back, right? Now you could go back in with a tool and look at that list and see who follows you back and who doesn't. If they didn't follow you back, you could actually go through and then follow them. So now you have 2 times that you've touched them, right? The other way to touch them is then by directly tweeting to them. You know, I won't show you how to do that right now just because we spend a lot of time, but you can go into Twitter and mention them. So you say @RealityCrowdTV, hey, you guys had an awesome show today, and then that pops a notification that says, hey, you know, Nick mentioned you guys here, and shows you the message. So really, those are the 3 main ways to get noticed. And I'll recap: following people, adding them to a list, and then also engaging them either through @mentions or retweeting their content. Those are the 3 ways to lure them to follow you on. Would you agree with those, Manolis?
Yeah, Nick, that was excellent. I mean, I learned a little bit about lists as well. I was doing the other 2, but I'm not really using lists all that much. So, very, very good content there. Additionally, too, Nick, you didn't learn these things in a day. Part of what is important is, you know, it may seem a little bit overwhelming, some of the things that Nick might have shown, even though he made it look very easy. To get to where he's gotten to, it didn't happen overnight, and that's kind of the point that we're trying to make with crowdfunding campaigns in general. You know, in order to understand the power of social media, you truly have to do trial and error. You know, you test something out. If it doesn't work, then that means, you know, maybe you didn't do it right. So let's change the approach. And then over time, you become really good at it because you're willing to fail in a way that isn't hurting anybody, isn't hurting you, but you're testing your hypothesis and determining if they actually are responding. So just because, you know, Nick has become very good at Twitter, he's got it down to a science. You know, you can get there if you first try and do it yourself. Does that make sense, Rita?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm surely not going to give up. I will continue at it until I become successful at it. Most definitely. I am a fighter and a pursuer and always moving forward, no matter how many times I trip and fall. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And what's also important to note here, don't look at it just for crowdfunding. I mean, social media is very important for crowdfunding, but this is your business. So you aren't doing social media, or you're not creating videos, you know, and you're not doing all these different things just for crowdfunding. You are going to be using this for the rest of your life. It's something that is going to connect you with opportunities and people and distribution channels and all these different facets of building your business. So social media is for eternity. You know, it doesn't end with crowdfunding. In fact, if you only use it for crowdfunding, you're essentially not understanding the power of social media.
Yeah, no, well, no, I'll just say for me, I'm not looking at it that way. In fact, I'm trying to fit you into my busy schedule. You're very powerful, and I'm so grateful you've come into my life and going to be a part of my journey, you know, and it just makes my life that much more busier. But you're just a part of my entity, and adding to another great facet of it, but you're not the whole picture, if that's what you're trying to say, because there's so many wonderful doors opening up for me, and I'm glad you're one of the doors.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very grateful to meet you, and so, you know, I know that you're going to keep pushing forward, and everything's going to open up for you from here. And I also want to let you guys know, I mean, I can keep going on in the presentation. We've almost been on for 2 hours, and I'd be happy to continue. But if anyone needs to leave at any time as well, you know, feel free. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to stay on, but I'm going to keep going for a little while until you guys say uncle. How does that sound?
Well, I have getting a migraine from wearing these headsets, okay. So I think I'm going to say goodbye right now. Could you please give the gentleman my email address when you're done with the presentation, so they have it for anyone that would like it, and I'm going to check out. Thank you all. It was a pleasure meeting you all, and God bless you, and thank you again, and please email me for when our next presentation is, because I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Ciao, Bella.
Cool. So we'll just keep going here for a little bit more. I'm going to try to go a little quicker because we did have a lot of good information on engagement and on Twitter. Let's move forward. So if everyone on the call does not currently use some sort of social media management system like Hootsuite or Buffer app, does everyone know those things that are currently on the line?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So these are ways for you to schedule one message that will be blasted across multiple social networks. So it saves you time and it saves you frustration with having to go to every single network to post your message. Even though I will say sometimes it's better to post a message directly on the social network because these dashboards don't always make a picture look that good if you just schedule a picture to go out. So sometimes, you know, you might want to post directly on Twitter certain things as opposed to doing Buffer app or Hootsuite. For Hootsuite, again, you know, go to hootsuite.com. That's part of that. You know, just unfollow is actually very similar to Tweetpee or Tweepy, what Nick ended up telling us. So that's just another one of those. We do have what is known as a crowd speaking platform. This I'd like to kind of show real quick because I think it's important. And I'm not going to show Thunderclap. I'm going to show Head Talker, which is a new platform that is really probably the more prominent one. It's going to become the more prominent one shortly. So we got a Head Talker, and what it is, the definition of a crowd speaking campaign is the ability to post one message through multiple people's social media accounts as if these people posted your message themselves. They're giving permission by actually enlisting in your message to post your message at a certain time on a certain date if a certain amount of people have said they would post your message. So the best way to do it is to actually show you. this is a friend of mine here from NetLodge. This is Jan. He's only 14 years old, this guy, and he's creating an amazing technology. He's like a super genius. And so his message is, we make any company look big. We're launching soon. Join us. And so he then posted this message that he wants broadcast, and if it ends up getting the 120 supporters, then this message right here, this link that he posted, would end up getting sent out, and that's a landing page for him. So back to showing you how it works, and I clicked out of it by accident. I apologize. If I wanted to support his campaign, which I do, with my personal social media accounts, I would say that there's 18 days until this message gets launched. He needs 120 supporters, and I want to be a part of it. So I say, I will support you with Twitter, and I click on the Twitter button, and I click Add My Support. And so right there, with that simple click of a button, you now see that this icon turned green, which means I support it. And if I wanted to cancel my support, I can click it again. You could always say I don't want to do it, but you don't want to do that. And this number went from 23 to 24. And I can do it on another account. I could do it on Tumblr. I could do it on LinkedIn. I could do it on Facebook. And each account that you end up saying yes to increases the number here as another person who just supported it. So what's going to happen is when he reaches 120 people who've done what I just did, this number at present will be much higher, because right now 25 people have a potential social reach of 373,000. But when he reaches this number on September 3rd, 2014 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, this message is going to go out across all 120 people's social media accounts. And that right there is multiplying the power of your own personal social media. So, you know, that right there, if you're not using any kind of crowd speaking platform, you should definitely use headtalker.com. They will end up being, you know, a great tool for you to broadcast your message much farther than perhaps you currently believe is possible. So, you know, this is a portion of this slide is, you know, one of the stages of crowdfunding is really networking and team building, right? And the way that you actually get a team and the way that you network is largely driven by what you've done yourself. You know, Tiffany, are you still on?
I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. You as an individual have done everything yourself, and you've done so much. Like, you are an inspiration for Bebe Pod Pants, your company. So part of the crowdfunding process is really bringing more people on your team, and I know you have your PR company that helps you a lot, so you've already mastered, you know, you've already started adding these people to your team. But even on social media, you could end up finding people who you've inspired, and part of the way you get people on a team is by teaching them something that they don't know. If you don't have a budget to actually pay someone to do social media, which most campaigners will not, then you're going to have to budget your time to really give it to somebody who might want to help you because they want to learn what you know, and they might want to do a crowdfunding campaign in the future. So, you know, this slide is really saying, now that you got a team, there's a lot of different things that people can do for you. And, you know, I just wanted to say that you know, even if you don't have a budget, you do have your time and knowledge that you can use to build up your team members. So these slides, I'm not going to go through it, but basically these are kind of something that if you have a particular campaign, this is something that you can give to the people running it so that they know kind of what you want to do. Like, how are you going to handle Twitter? How are you going to handle Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc.? So, you know, it's important to really give people something to work off of. You don't want to just have them, like, crash and burn on their own if you've learned everything already. So again, we talked about hashtags, but specifically for your particular company or industry, you need to identify what the keywords are in your industry. not only is it important for social media, it's important for public relations, it's important for your website search engine optimization. So it's important to identify what those are. And then really you begin to build your crowd. When should you start social media? Immediately, because for most people it'll be free. So if you're going to run a campaign 3 to 6 months before you ever launch your project, you should start social media from day one.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that you're engaging. Just like Nick mentioned, you want to post engaging content, and you want to be not seen as a spammer. I break this rule all the time, but in general, when you're first building a crowd, you don't want to be posting links that much. You want to maybe do it only 15 to 20% of the time. Once you build a following, then you could do it more. But at least in my situation, when I first started, I wasn't very much using links at all. And then engaging content. I mean, I just showed this one because it's just I've never had a more engaging post before, so I personally like to brag about it. And I'm not sure why this brings up this network here. Sorry, let me just go to a different Twitter. Nope, that's not it. So if I were to go to my Twitter account, I could just post the link that was supposed to come up. And this post was a post that we did a while back, and so I want to read to you what it says, and then I want to show you like the picture. So sometimes I see this photo and I admire the self-control of those dogs. Other times I admire the courage of the cat. And so it's kind of witty, but this right here didn't use hashtags, but it kind of went a little bit viral. Mm-hmm. It got retweeted 265 times and favorited 131 times. And so why am I showing you this, and what does this have to do with crowdfunding? Absolutely nothing. Like, the post has nothing to do with crowdfunding, right? Yeah. What it did have something to do with, though, is that the retweets mean that my icon, Reality Crowd TV, showed up on 262 people's news feeds right on their personal page. And so because this was so engaging, what the strategy was here, plus all these people ended up chatting about it too, right? So a lot of things came out of it. But what ended up happening here is that when this showed up on someone's newsfeed and they said, "This is an awesome photo, I love this quote," who is Reality Crowd TV? They'll click on this. Suddenly, they see my link. They see that, okay, they're creating a reality TV show about the crowdfunding movement. And, oh, they have a website. So what is that? Let me take a look at it. And I will tell you this. That right there is a strategy for getting people to click on your links, and it could definitely apply to crowdfunding, even if the post itself had nothing to do with crowdfunding. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. That's sort of what I do more on Facebook. I have posts that are about the business, and then I post things that other like moms would be interested in. You know, and then I get a lot of traffic from that and a lot of engagement from that.
Yeah, that's exactly. Give the people what they want, and then they'll end up going to your website. Another cool thing too, and this I think is only applicable if you at one point or another experimented with Twitter ads. If you actually put a budget on your Twitter account, I tried it for like a few days and I didn't really like it, but what happened was it did allow me to check my settings, and it shows this Twitter ads button. So if you were to go to your own personal Twitter account, you probably wouldn't have this unless you paid for some advertising.
Mm-hmm. I've tried it as well. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. Even though I don't have any kind of budget right now, it does give me this awesome dashboard, right? And this analytics, I love looking at it because it's analytics directly from Twitter. And even though I'm not paying for it, it still shows all of my all the engagements and everything that's happening with my actual tweets, right? Mm-hmm. So here, the live crowdfunding office hours, it said 540 impressions, 18 engagements, and an engagement link. So if I click on it, it'll actually break down all the things that happen. So this many impressions, 8 retweets, 5 favorites, 2 people clicked on the link, 2 people clicked on my user profile, so they clicked on Reality Crowd TV, and it tells you everything about what happened. So if you want to know how effective a certain post was, you can drill down into, you know, all these different things. And here's another one, right? Another interesting thing. This post, I just put in a nice little thing. People clicked on a link. People expanded the profile. It shows you key things that if you look at it and you look at the posts that are more engaging, you could figure out, like, why was that post particularly engaging? Why did it do, you know, why did people react the way they reacted? And you could analyze it. Like, again, this one is trying to get people for the pitch show. And I mean, again, it shows a lot of retweets, a lot of engagements, user profile people looked at. So, you know, if nothing else, just put like $1 in, and this one was crazy. This one, you see this? 4,248.
Wow.
This one had a ton of impressions. It got 22 retweets and 47 favorites. And, you know, again, some link clicks, a lot of user profile expands. And this really, you know, it's just a way to get people to see you more. Finally, we'll end the presentation with one of my favorite quotes. If someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure if you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. People are so afraid of what they don't know, and they'll talk themselves out of an opportunity by their fears, and it's the worst thing that keeps people back. It's the fear of the unknown is what stops people from really living the life that they want. And it doesn't only apply to crowdfunding. This applies to just life in general. It's, you know, if you know, this quote, for instance, if you're saying that you're going to quit your job to beat LeBron James in a slam dunk contest, then you're delusional, right? Especially if you don't have any athletic abilities. But if there's an opportunity ahead of you and you have prior successes in a similar situation, but you just hadn't been in this situation in particular, you know, you can figure things out. There's ways to get information. Everything's at our fingertips. And so I remind myself every day, the moment I start to feel overwhelmed, I just look back at this quote, and then I just say, you know what, breathe, Manolis, take it step by step, reach out for help, you'll find the answer. And so that's the end of this presentation. Any questions or comments on that?
That was really good, Manolis. I would definitely like to get a copy of that at some point from you.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll definitely give you that. I mean, I give that away for free. I mean, it's on SlideShare, and it's the basics really that, you know, it's a good way for people to really understand it from a very minimal perspective. So, are there any last questions or any oh yeah, or is there anything you want to share particularly, Patrick, about Chewy? Because you guys had a crowdfunding campaign, and maybe I could actually play the video that's on your website. Would that be cool if I play the video for Chewy?
That'd be great. It's at getchewy.com.
Okay, sure. Let me. I think I have it open. Let me play the video so that people understand what Chewy is. It really is a really cool project. Okay. Is this the video right here?
It is, and we're actually making a new one because we were one of 19 international companies, over 800, to make the Cisco IoT Innovation Challenge semifinals. So this is a little outdated, but we'll have a new one up shortly. But this would be awesome to show right now.
Perfect. And as everyone can see here, the goal was 30,000, and you guys raised 70,000. So you guys did an awesome job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. So I'm going to play the video.
Technology is about making our lives easier, more convenient, and secure. We are all reaping the benefits of living in a new connected world, and Chewy aims to augment this movement by making our homes smarter and socially intelligent. Discover Chewy, your passport to a new experience.
We can make your house intelligent to the point of recognizing you, recognizing your visitors, recognizing your friends.
Chewy is an intelligent device that can be used as a smart doorbell as well as inside of your home for security and monitoring purposes.
one of the great features Chewy offers is identity-based messages.
Hey babe, just got dinner started.
You can pre-record a message from a friend of yours, and Chewy would play that message upon identification just for him or her.
I'm out in the shower. There's something. Chewy's customized messages can be useful in a variety of different situations. Whether you want to tell your parents where you put the spare key, you want to tell your friends that you'll be right back from the store, or you're trying to break out to your emotional boyfriend.
Hey, me. No, not with I see.
If you're busy watching TV on the couch, you don't have to be inconvenienced by getting up to realize there's a pesky magazine salesman at your door. If it is someone that you want to talk to, you can tap into a two-way audio and one-way video conversation. I'm coming now.
In addition to motion detection and pressing a button, Chewy can also be triggered by face detection, whereby if someone approaches the door, the presence of a face will prompt Chewy to take a picture and deliver a real-time notification to the user.
Chewy is compatible with the most popular internet-connected locks as well as lighting systems. So if you've got friends that are coming over that you want to be able to unlock the door for when they approach, they can walk up, push the button, and the door will automatically unlock after recognizing who is there.
Chewy can also use QR codes and alphanumeric passwords as a second layer of security. Even if someone steals that password and QR code, they will not be able to use it because Chewy will couple that with facial recognition information.
Chewy's been extensively tested in homes as well as in the commercial environment for employee clock-in systems, membership-based programs. Enrolling someone is as easy as holding the button for 5 seconds. You can also enroll someone through our web and mobile application. Design has always been at the forefront of our minds, and we plan on continuing to iterate until we achieve a beautiful final design. We're really excited to bring Chewy to market for an affordable price to both the personal consumer as well as the business. We'd appreciate further support to help Chewy come to life by backing us.
Wow. That was awesome, Patrick.
Well, thank you. Thank you for playing it. And one of the great things about that, too, like, all we paid for was the videographer. So to save money, we just used our friends and our friends' houses and just did it all that way. And that saved a ton of money. A lot of times people look at videos and think they're not accessible to them in their crowdfunding campaign. But if you just kind of turn a shoestring or lean budget, it's just finding those things like getting friends or friends' houses or making your own props and stuff like that. That really does save a lot of money, so you can get professional quality to put on your site.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry that you got dumped.
I know. I love when that plays like on the news and stuff too. It's always a clip they take, so that's what it's known as. It's been awesome.
No, it was expertly done. I really love that. So I'll give everybody kind of a last word, or if you have any final questions. But let's start with Nick LaFond. Any last words, Nick, before we sign off?
Sure. Yeah. All this was really great content on here. I love the ideas with some of the social automation tools. They're getting very popular. I will add, be careful with them and don't overuse them. Don't abuse them because it's pretty easy to nowadays to be considered spam, and you just want to be mindful of your audience.
Absolutely. And Patrick, last words from you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on today. I really enjoyed it. And it was great to meet you, Tiffany, and you, Nick, and everyone else who's already left the call. It's great to see how everyone is using this crowdfunding opportunity to really bring back that American community spirit. It's great to be a part of. If I could add just one or two things, it'd be that while social platforms are great, there's nothing like going a step further and actually reaching out to people, sending a personalized email, or even making a phone call if you're in your network. That is still the #1 thing people respond to. And then I know earlier in our conversation we had talked about ways to network or meet people to bring on new teams or even opportunities with VCs or media. I just wanted to put out there's a new app that's been out for about a month called Coffee the App. And it's basically they market it as Tinder, but for professional uses. So you just go on, you put what you're looking for, and you swipe left if you don't think it's like someone you want to connect with, and you swipe right to connect. And personally, it has helped us find VCs, lots of media, helps people find potential partners or co-founders. It's just a great app, and I think it's going to be big.
And Patrick, can you type in the chat window what that was, the website for it, so I can pull it up? Because I'd be curious to see what that is, and then I'll give Tiffany a final ring while you type that in. What is any last words, Tiffany? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry.
My bad. I wanted to thank everyone for all the great information that was presented in this podcast. I'm always open, to learn something new. So I'll definitely be using a lot of this content. And I'd definitely like to reach out to you guys to continue to, learn even more. I've been picking at Nick LaFond on, I think, every social media platform here. I'd really like to sit down with someone to help me with my coaching, business coaching. And I'm just, I'm happy to learn from you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, you're doing some amazing things, Tiffany, and we'll make sure we're all connected to each other after this show so that you all can kind of connect and chat. But again, thank you, Tiffany, for joining us again. So I actually pulled it up. I'm just going to pull up that application real quick so that everyone can see it. It's called Coffee the App. So if you go to coffeetheapp.com, or if you download it on your device, is this for both iPhone and Android?
Yes, it's just in the App Store.
Okay. So yeah, Coffee the App, and it looks like it's a way for people to really connect with people. Okay. This is awesome. Yeah, thanks, Patrick, for sharing this with us. I'm definitely going to download it and see what it's all about.
Perfect.
So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us, and another great panel. We had a lot of people on, and also the viewers, for you watching live right now, thank you so much for sticking with us during this episode of Crowdfunding Office Hours. And until next time, dream it, believe it, achieve it. Thank you.